Okay. So let's get serious. Sherry, among song you project your personal life into other people's your the hatred you have for people stems from your own life. So everything the fact bouncing authentic, authentic that it cannot be rebutted. So I want you people to carefully follow this story. Ẹ follow ẹ ni o, because I am sister Temi sọ nǹkan lọ́jọ́ kan yìí pé ọ̀rọ̀ Karimo ni she wanted to deport her husband. Ẹ máa rò pé eré ni pé we just said it báyìí, or bóyá she deported her mother-in-law báyìí, ọkọ̀ sọ ni kò sẹ́ẹ̀rì. Let us go into details. So I'll be reading something, and this is a document Karimo wrote to deport her husband. The husband don't pọ́nlé nulẹ̀ yẹn. There are so many things happening in her marriage that she's projecting it into the life of Wunmi. She's projecting it into the life. So don't let me talk. Let Karimo now do the talking. I'm not going to say anything from my own mouth. Right from now, Karimo is talking. Name Akim Joel S. Mo Soton. Social security number one bẹ́ẹ̀ mi ní pè tán. Alien number one bẹ́ẹ̀ mi ní sọ. Because of his own protection, I won't say anything like that. So social security number is not something to be spilled in public. I'm not going to do that. But let us go into details. Emagboro Karimo. This is a letter she wrote to deport her husband. Akim and I were matched made by my mom in 2015. She wanted me to marry her son, saying he's a good man.
By our mom, not my mom. Our mom, Akim's mom. Our mom. Not by Wunmi's mom,
by his mom.
Yes.
Akim and I were made by his mom in 2015. She persuaded me to marry her son, saying he's a good man. After lots of persuasion, I decided to give in, and I gave her my phone number, and Akim and I started talking. Little did I know she did that because of my US residency. Akim called me and we started talking. I visited Akim in Kenya in the year 2016 and 2017 because he resided in Kenya at the time, and I went with a lot of gift items and money. In 2018, we decided to get married, and we both traveled to Nigeria for the wedding. Akim arrived in Nigeria before me, and he was seeing another lady. I was told that the lady left Akim's house the same day I arrived in Nigeria. I found out later after the wedding. If not, I wouldn't have proceeded with the wedding. I asked him about the lady, and he didn't deny it, but apologized. In 2019, I had my first child with Akim.
Karimo fi network
He's always supporting his mom. In late 2019, I traveled to Nigeria with Jordan and my mother-in-law so Jordan can meet his dad for the first time. This visit was the beginning of my ordeal at the hand of Akim and his whole family. Akim, his mom, and his sister ganged up on me and attempted to forcefully take Jordan from me. But I threatened to go to the US embassy to report them for abducting my child, which made them stop. I left Nigeria for the US very unhappy. My culture does not believe in divorce. So when I got to the US, Akim apologized and we decided to work on our relationship, and everything was going on smoothly without the interference of his mom. In December 2020, I traveled to Nigeria again to spend time with Akim, even though I was still terrified from my last experience. This time around, I had planned to stay for 4 months. Prior to my visit, hold on please. Prior to my visit, I had asked Akim to talk to his mom to let me be at peace and not cause trouble and fight with me during my stay. This time, this time around, because of the length of my stay and previous experience, I decided not to stay at the mom's house. I rented an Airbnb for our privacy and my mental health. It was during this long trip that I discovered how Akim has been messing around with different women to the point that I was infected with chlamydia, an STD, by him while I was pregnant with my first child, Jordan.
Yay!
During my pregnancy in 2019, my OBGYN requested that I place a call to Akim through FaceTime video call due to the outcome of my results, and the doctor told him that he has infected me with chlamydia and that if he doesn't stop messing around with random women, he's putting me and his unborn child in danger. I was treated with azithromycin antibiotics to prevent my unborn from being blind at birth. In March 2021, as my long trip to Nigeria was coming to an end, his longtime lover called in on his phone as he was in the shower. Akim ran out of the shower, soap all over his body, slipping and falling because I answered his call. When I questioned who she was, he couldn't tell me. Instead, stammering and saying she's my cousin. So I replied, how come I don't know her as a member of the family? Akim's response to the lady on the phone was, my families are here. My families are here. So I called his mom and informed her of the issue, as she was the one who introduced me to Akim. When I arrived at my mother-in-law's place, the same lady was already there waiting for us. This lady and his mom assaulted me verbally and physically while Akim stood there watching and told me that I brought it upon myself and I did not intervene. I sobbed uncontrollably because I couldn't believe my husband could be on his mistress' side, and his mother and sister were laughing at me while the lady was beating me up. I wanted to quit the marriage that day, but I was afraid for my safety and that of my son. I left Nigeria for the United States with Jordan in March 2021, crying the entire flight. While all this was going on, I had already petitioned for him and he had gotten his immigrant visa. When Akim arrived in the United States in April 2021, I asked him about the said lady, and he admitted that the lady was his longtime lover. At this point, I asked him to choose between his marriage to me and his son or his mistress. He couldn't give me an answer right away and requested some time to think about it. In 2022, I recommended Akim return to school for nursing to advance his career, but he initially rejected it. But after much persuasion, he agreed to return to school. While he was in school, he was unable to work due to the workload of school. I was unable to work as much as well because I had to stay home with the kids so he could concentrate on studying. His school was not qualified for FAFSA, FAFSA. He had to pay his tuition out of pocket. I was helping to pay his tuition and the bills with the little income I was earning. As time went on, we both realized we needed help with childcare. So I suggested we have Akim's mother come over to help with the kids while he goes to school. And I work to help pay the bills. I paid for his mom's visa fee and airplane ticket totaling $2,400. As soon as she arrived, Akim told her so many things about me that were not true. She arrived in late August of 2022, and on October 12th, she brought up the subject of Akim's mistress who beat me up in Nigeria. I told her I didn't want to talk about it because it was a terrible experience, but she insisted. During this discussion, an argument ensued, and the next thing I remembered was that she gave me a big slap on the right side of my face while I was holding my 9-month-old baby girl, Gracious. She dragged me out of the bedroom to the living room with my clothes while still holding my daughter, and all three of us fell on each other. My daughter was so frightened and was crying profusely. I got up quickly to check and ensure that she didn't get hurt. I hurried out of the house for our safety, called Akim to explain what happened to him, and asked him to come back home immediately. I was afraid to go back into the house so she doesn't attack us again. We had to wait in the parking lot for him to arrive. Upon his arrival, he said nothing, and I asked him if he thought it was okay for his mother to physically assault me and his daughter, but he kept quiet. In his presence, the mother unzipped her travel bag and pulled out the 22 pairs of shoes that I had purchased for her to beat me, and hurled all 22 pairs of shoes at me, two of which hit my daughter on the head, causing her to cry again. I told Akim, "You are watching your mother while she beats me and your daughter up." Then Akim took Gracious away from me, and his mother was free to beat me up again. I couldn't defend myself because in Africa, particularly in Nigeria and my tribe, you are not permitted to defend yourself against elder abuse. Akim hurriedly changed his mother's ticket to Nigeria and drove her to the airport before I could find my phone and call the cops. My life fell apart that day, and while I was suffering in silence in my marriage from various forms of emotional and physical violence, Akim stood by and watched his mother beat me and my 9-month-old daughter. This is the second time my mother-in-law has physically assaulted me. I grieved and cried till I was weary of sobbing because Akim did not apologize on his mother's behalf. Akim's mother informed me that Akim was married to his Nigerian mistress because I came into the picture that I was only used as a stepping stone to bring Akim to America, and I should deal with it. I couldn't believe my ears and begged Akim to tell me the truth, but he denied it. Yet he couldn't let go of the said lady. Beginning of this year, I enrolled for the online classes at Manchester Community College to start on January 19, 2023. I went to school for my anatomy and physiology lab sessions, which was scheduled to run from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. but finished at 8:16 p.m. Akim was awaiting me at home and continuously calling me around 7:30 p.m. but I couldn't pick up since I didn't want to disrupt my A and P class. At 8:16 p.m. after the lab class, I called Akim, who called at me and asked why I was late. I arrived home at 8:26 p.m. Akim told me, "I'm going to start hitting you." And I told him that I never reported your mother when she physically assaulted me on October 12, 2022. But if you hit me as you claimed, I will report you. Akim unexpectedly smacked me with the back of his palm on my neck. I couldn't breathe for a few minutes, and when I was able to, I contacted the cops. Akim fled before the cops arrived at our residence, so they were unable to arrest him. He eventually apologized, and while I was unable to press charges, I was able to obtain a restraining order against him and my children. This, the DCYF also called to my house to check on me and the kids. Akim begged and assured me he would change, but it only became worse. The DCYF lady asked him to give me and the kids space for our own safety. We went to the Ninth Circuit Court in Manchester, New Hampshire, NH, for a domestic violence hearing on March 23rd, 2023. Prior to the hearing date, a family member intervened. After the hearing, I begged Akim to move back to the house and start over because of the kids. Akim told me he's done with me and can't wait to get his citizenship next year and give me and the kids the middle finger. He also informed me that he purposefully rented about an apartment near my house so that he could emotionally assault me with women because he wanted me to witness him with other women. He's also on a dating website chatting with older wealthy women. Akin told me that he used me as a stepping stone to get to the United States and that he can't wait to gain his citizenship so that he may move to another country. He also filed out from I-130 for his long-term partner. We are currently separated, no longer live together, and are in the process of filing for divorce. I was totally enslaved and used by him and his family, all in the name of marriage. I was financially extorted by him and his family and paid all his immigration processing fees to bring Akim to the United States. He never loved from the beginning. It was all a scam devised by him and his mother. But I was too foolish and in love to figure it out in time. I kept forgiving him because of the kids. I do not want them to be a product of a broken home, just like me. Àti sọ̀rọ̀ tán. That's where it ended. Reactions. Over to panelists. Ẹ ṣé o.